Good evening, brothers and sisters, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Kevin, and I am an elder in Israel. And I hope that you guys had a great Tuesday, sorry. I hope that you had fun, and I hope that you spent some time with the Lord. I hope you read His scriptures and prepared for Sunday. It's always good to spend time with the Lord, get to know Him. Today we're going to learn about how King Lamoni and his family and people came to know the Lord. Now, if you remember, in the previous chapter, Ammon had spent time with King Lamoni, had did marvelous things with him, and the king, after listening to Ammon, believed everything that Ammon had taught him, and then he cried with these words, O Lord, have mercy according to thy abundant mercy which thou hast had upon the people of Nephi, have upon me and my people. After saying these words, King Lamoni dropped as if he was dead. But what's actually going on? So today we'll discuss that in today's episode on Alma chapter 19. So King Lamoni had dropped dead, and he, as if he was dead. And he laid there for 2 days. Now, normally, rigor mortis would set in, but it hasn't. And so the queen, having heard the fame of Ammon, sent for him. And so they sent. And the queen, when Ammon gets there, says, the servant of my husband have made it known unto me that thou art a prophet of a holy God, and that thou hast power to do many mighty works in his name. I love how works comes in there. And then she goes into saying that her people are saying that he is starting to stink. But the queen says she doesn't smell it. And Ammon knew what was going on with him, that he was under the power of God. And he says here, and he knew that the dark veil of unbelief was being cast away from his mind, and the light which did light up his mind, which was the light of the glory of God, which was a marvelous light of his goodness, yea, the light had infused so much joy into his soul, the cloud of darkness having been dispelled, and that the light of everlasting life was lit up in his soul. Yea, he knew that this had overcome his natural frame. Now we see this happen, like we've mentioned this before, we've seen this happen where the body is overcome with the glory of God, that it collapses. Moses, Joseph Smith, Alma the Younger. Here we're seeing it again with King Lamoni. So, and this is a pattern. Paul, he collapsed. Well, his was from an earthquake, but he was blinded. But still, the glory of God has an interesting effect upon the natural body. Very interesting. And the queen wanted to know what was going on with her husband's body. And in verse 8, Ammon says, "He is not dead, but he sleepeth in God, and on the morrow he will rise again. Therefore bury him not." And then Ammon, simple three-word question: "Believest thou this?" And her response shows such great faith. It says, "I have no witness save thy word, and the word of our servants. Nevertheless, I believe that it shall be according as thou hast said." And then Ammon says this beautiful, this should be stitched up, put on the wall: "Blessed art thou because of thy exceeding faith. I say unto thee, woman, there has not been such great faith among all the people of the Nephites." And that's something that's lacking in today's society, is faith. We have been led to believe that the only truths that we can find are the ones that we can see with our senses, our taste, eyes, ears. The thing is, all those can be lied to. Illusions and mirages, audible mirages, all of them can be confused. Even touch can be confused. They did an experiment years ago where they set someone's hand and then that fake hand in a mirror, and they took a feather and stroked the hand, and the person would feel it on their hand. And then they would take a hammer and they would swing it, hit the hand, and the person would actually pull away their hand, even though it wasn't their hand that this was going on to. They felt it. So the five senses can be fooled. So anyways, so the queen watched over the bed of her husband, and on the very next day he arose. And I'll read what the king said. He said, "Blessed be the name of God, and blessed art thou. For as sure as thou livest, behold, I have seen my Redeemer. And he shall come forth, and be born of a woman, and he shall redeem all mankind who believe on his name." Now, when he said these words, his heart was swollen within him, and he sunk again with joy. And the queen also sunk down, being overpowered by the Spirit. Now Ammon, he saw this, and he was like, according to his prayers upon the Lamanites, his brethren, he's looking at this. He said, who had been the cause of so much mourning among the Nephites, among all the people of God, because of their iniquity and their traditions. He fell upon his knees and began to pour out his soul in prayer and thanksgiving to God for what he had done for his brethren. And he was also overpowered with joy, and thus all three had sunk to the earth. Now, here we are. We have the king, the queen, and Ammon, all on the ground. And what happens? Well, there's one woman. She's mentioned earlier. She's the Lamanitish woman, her name was Abesh, and she was converted years ago because of a vision to her father. And when she saw Ammon, King Lamoni, and all the servants of King Lamoni had fallen to the earth, she went out and spread the word, what was going on. So they began to assemble. Unfortunately, not all of them were curious what's going on. Now, there was one gentleman, or let's see, verse 19, we'll start there. It says that some murmured and saying that it was a great evil that had come upon them or upon the king's house, because he had suffered that the Nephites should remain in the land. And others would say, the king hath brought this evil upon his house because he slew his servants. And then there were also others rebuked by those men who had stood at the waters of Sebus. And then comes one of the brothers of the men who Ammon had killed. And he was really angry. So he took his sword and he's gonna kill him. Well, in the animated stories of the Book of Mormon, it shows him grab his heart. So he may have just had a heart attack. God caused a heart attack to protect Ammon. And then some of them were starting to say that Ammon is the Great Spirit, or that he was sent by the Great Spirit. And there's debate going on between the two. Some were saying he was a monster who had been sent from the Nephites to torment them. That's kind of funny. Now the Abish, still there, she actually became exceedingly sorrowful because of all the contention that was going on. And she bent down to grab the queen's hand to and hope that she would raise. And as soon as she took the hand of the queen, she awoke and rose and cried with a loud voice, "O blessed Jesus, who has saved me from an awful hell, O blessed God, have mercy on this people." And then the queen grabs Ammon's hand, and he sees the contention going on. He went forth to the people and started rebuking them, and many of them would not stay, and they left. But those that did, they started to hear the word of God. Oh, that's all right. And so Lamoni, Ammon, and the queen started preaching to the people, and they all had a change of their hearts and desires to do no more evil. And many people who had converted started saying they had started seeing angels, and now it came because everyone that believed in their words, everyone was starting to get baptized, and they became a righteous people and did establish a church. And this was the beginning of the mission to the Lamanites, which would bring hundreds of or even thousands of people to the Lord. And we see that through faith and patience, God can use you to bring people to the truth. He can use you, even if it's one soul. Blessed be God's name. But make sure that soul is yours first. All right, brothers and sisters. This has been lesson 19. I hope that you guys have a wonderful day or evening. I hope that you spend more time with the Lord, get to know Him, get to know His Word. Even read books that aren't in the standard works that are that claim to be from God. You never know when God will inspire your mind to something that is written. Remember, it's God that sets what is Scripture. I can't wait till the millennium to see who has or what Scriptures they have that we only wish we had. So with that, brothers and sisters, I hope you have a wonderful day or evening. Remember that I love you guys. I pray for you, and we'll see you in the morning for another Scripture of the day.